Hello, this is John Paval with Access Arts Live. If you're an organ lover, you know that is the Toccata Grand Finale to the Symphony No. 5 for organ by Charles Marie Widor. And what I'm here to tell you is that you'll have a chance to hear that played live this week, before this week is out. So if you stay with me, you'll get a chance to enjoy it with me and lots of other people. This is the Access Arts Live weekly organ live stream action roundup for the week of February 2nd to February 9th, 2026. And before I go any further, let me remind you, if you like this kind of programming, follow and or subscribe to Access Arts Live for more than 1,000 live links to live performances of all kinds. Opera, symphonies, ballet. There's a ballet thing going on, but that Arte is live streaming all week long this week. Organ recitals and piano recitals and string quartets, everything. And you can follow us or subscribe to us wherever you are, because we're on Facebook, YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, and LinkedIn. Surely you're on one of those social media regularly. Look, this week we have classic works from you, from Johan Sebastian Back to Cesar Franck. We've got organ collaborations with operatic soloists, with pan flutes. We've got transcriptions galore, from Chinese classics to Brahms' Fourth Symphony. Not ordinarily a symphony for the organ. And let me make sure that we bring Instagram online, which I just did a couple minutes late, so maybe they missed the grand organ intro. I'm not sure exactly how that works. So let us get to this week's lineup, because I have 10 different live streams to tell you about, and that's going to take us some time. If you only knew what it takes to get all of this done every week, you'd be wondering, John, why do you bother? I don't know. It's because I believe in the sharing, the social event, the sharing of moments of truth and beauty with the performing artist and the in-person audience and those of us who are in the remote audience. It's a social event, which I think is good for humankind. So there I am. Tuesday, February 3rd, St. James Cathedral, Toronto, live streams, recitalist, teacher, organist, and harpsichordist Jonathan Oldengarm, who's also the Minister of Music at Metropolitan United Church, Toronto, since 2022, I think. This will be at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Eastern Standard Time, 10 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast, 7 o'clock in the evening here in Europe. We give you the YouTube link as usual, and we give you the link to the organ specs. It's an organ rebuilt by Phelps and Associates in 1976, with 87 ranks, 67 speaking stops, over 4 manuals and 6 divisions, 5,101 pipes. Who is Jonathan Oldengarm? He's got a doctorate in organ performance from McGill. He's the fellowship diploma from the Royal Canadian College of Organists, also studied at the Stuttgart Hochschule for music. He taught for about, 10, 15 years. He taught organ, harpsichord, etc. at McGill University, but I don't think he does so anymore. And he was at another church too. So since 2022, he made a change over to music director at Metropolitan United Church. What's he going to play? I don't know. They never tell us at St. James Cathedral what people are going to play. So let's move on to the next organist this week. I know we have one viewer there. Feel free to say hello. It should show up on this on the Restream chat board if you do. Wednesday, February 4th, Queen's College, Oxford, live stream organ recital series welcomes veteran recitalist, continuo player, and recording artist John Robinson, director of music at Blackburn Cathedral and of the Blackburn Musical Society. He'll be playing works by Nikolaus Bruns, Johan Sebastian Bach and Vincent Lubeck. That's at 2:10 in the afternoon, European time, 8:10 in the morning on the East Coast, 5:10 in the morning on the West Coast for you Hollywood technicians who have to get up at 4:30, and 10 after midnight down under in Australia. A little earlier if you're in Western Australia, like Perth, probably like 10 o'clock. Anyway, what's Robinson going to be playing? He's playing Bruhn's Preludium in E minor, the great Preludium, we're told. Bach's Trio Sonata, BWV 530. Vincent Lubeck's Preludium in G minor, LUBWV 12. And Bach's Prelude and Fugue in D major, BWV 532. Very classic, but it looks like he's finding resonances between different pieces just from the descriptions of them. I can't say I know them all. I'm not that familiar with Bruhns and Lubeck. He's a big recording artist. He's recorded for Priory, Herald, Hyperion, Regent, and Ambisonic. And this is pointed out regularly in his bios. He's regularly broadcasting on Radio 3 from Blackburn Cathedral. He's also a composer, and his choral works have been performed at places like the Harvard University Chapel Choir. Formerly, he was the director of music at St. Paul's, Harvard Square in the United States of America, where he collaborated a lot with the Boston Symphony, the Boston Pops, etc. It's a Frobenius organ. They're very proud of it at Queen's College, Oxford. We give you the link to it, and you can read what they have to say about why it's so terrific. At a little later than that, also on Wednesday, February 14, Temple Church London has its usual weekly live stream recital, but it's all they tell us is that it's by the Tonbridge School, which is a boys' high school, and we don't know any more about it. And I looked on the events page of the boys' high school, didn't say anything about it. So I don't know if it's organ students from the school or what it is, but if you're curious, well, you can check that out too. Now, after these three, now we move on to a series of organ recitals coming to you from Russia, one after the other, and they're all very interesting organ recitals. So I want to tell you about them. Is this the first one? No, I think I don't know if this is the first one I done. I don't know if I just confused this. I got it right. How do you like that? You know, I make so many mistakes, but sometimes I'm surprised when I don't. I've made a mistake right here because I have nothing in my notes on how to introduce this. So this is an improvised intro, folks. Listen to this. Organist Maria Moiseeva will accompany an operatic duo playing and singing arias and organ works by the Italian composer Salieri, connected in the minds of most people with Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, and not in a happy sense. But that's not the way Maria Moiseeva feels about it. She feels he's really a fine conductor in his own rights. It's 275 years since his birth. So Maria Moiseeva, who is a professor at the Tchaikovsky Conservatory in Moscow and a senior researcher at the Moscow Institute of Art Theory, is getting together with two people she's worked together before, Natalia Dubrovskaya, the soprano, and Rustam Yavayev, a countertenor, who's also a guest soloist at the Bolshoi Theater from time to time. And they're going to be doing different pieces by Salieri, the Italian composer. The organ pieces that they'll be doing, well, they'll be doing parts 3 and 4 for the organ from, transcribed for the organ from Salieri's Little Serenade. The first movement from Salieri's Chamber Concertino for flute and orchestra in G major, arranged for organ. And the second movement from Salieri's Concerto in C major for harpsichord and orchestra. And then the rest of it all is duets and motets. There's Mater Jesu from his Offertorio, a duet for soprano and alto. There's the Tantum Ergo, which is an alto aria. There's Vera's aria Bel Anime Elette from the oratorio Jesu al Limbo, I think that means Jesus in limbo. Anyway, this sort of thing, and a Salve Regina from the cantata for soprano, and they finish up with a duet called Amen Hallelujah. If you'd like to discover Salieri and don't know as much about him, it's a great way to discover many things about Salieri, I would say. Okay, and then that is on Wednesday. And I probably forgot to tell you, that's on Wednesday at 6 o'clock in the evening, European time, which will make it noon on the East Coast and 9 in the morning on the West Coast. Right? Right. Okay. Hello, Francisca Leo. I do not have a translation of what Mafsayatida Mengerti Bahasa Ingris means, but I assume it means something positive because we all love each other here, don't we? This is all about sharing moments of truth and beauty with the global audience. We move on then to another concert, a couple of concerts coming in on Friday, and the first of them will be out in Tomsk, Siberia. Friday, February 6th, the Tomsk Philharmonic's concert organist Maria Blazhevich performs a musical dialogue between the works of Johann Sebastian Bach, the star of the golden age of the Baroque, and Cesar Franck, the leader of the silver age of the French organ tradition. That'll be at 7 o'clock in the evening, Tomsk, Siberia time, which will be 1 o'clock in the afternoon in Europe, 8 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast in the US, and 11 o'clock in the evening in Australia. And so she'll do a Bach Prelude and Fugue in A minor, BWV 543, and then Franck's Chorale in A minor. Then she does Franck's Prelude, Fugue, and Variation in B minor, and then she'll do Bach's Prelude and Fugue in B minor, BWV 544, and finish up with Franck's Chorale in E major. It's a very thoughtful concert, going up and back between these two composers, and this is not unusual for the folks out in Tomsk. I mean, and for Russian concerts in general, they tend to be very thoughtful. At least the Tomsk Philharmonic ones are, and Maria Blazhevich's are. So, chapeau to Maria Blazhevich. And if you want to compare these two greats of the two great ages, the golden age of Bach and the silver age of Cesar Franck, have at it, free of charge. By the way, all of the live streams I've mentioned so far today are free of charge. Later in the same day, coming to you from the Catholic Cathedral in Moscow, is another lovely organ recital concert by two favorites of mine. And here they are. That's Anna Vetlugina and Dmitry Maksimenko. They are respectively the resident organist at the Catholic Cathedral in Moscow and the Anglican Cathedral in Moscow. And they play together on a regular basis, and they're always lovely concerts. Friday, February 6th, our favorite organ duo, Anna Vetlugina and Dmitry Maksimenko, will do their best to recreate the atmosphere of Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris, playing four-handed and two organ selections and transcriptions of works by Ravel, Eric Satie, Louis Vierne, Bollmann, Cocciante, Tchaikovsky, and Anna Vetlugina herself, because Anna Vetlugina is also a composer. That'll be at 7 in the evening European time, 1 o'clock on the East Coast, 10 in the morning on the West Coast, 9 in the evening in Moscow. Vetlugina composed a piece called Chimeras of the Notre Dame School, or the Notre Dame School, and they will play that among other things. The idea is to create the atmosphere of Paris by playing like Louis Vierne's cathedrals, or Cathedral is what it would be, and then Satie's La Belle Eccentrique, the belle eccentric. Then a lullaby by Pierre Cochereau, Ravel's Bolero, Cocciante's Belle, and they'll finish up with Hubert Giraud's Sous le ciel de Paris, Under the Parisian Sky, which is a popular song. Sous le ciel de Paris, da da dum bum bum bum, Paris, la da da dum, ba dee da da dum, ba da 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 da. I'll just keep singing while I'm changing the photo here, because I got to move on to the next live stream to tell you about, which is another interesting live stream. This gets us to Saturday, but we're still with the Russians. Saturday, February 7th, Art Bene live streams an organ and pan flute organ concert, playing classic selections by Vivaldi, Bach, Buxtehude, Mozart, Franck, Saint-Saëns, Tchaikovsky, but also modern compositions like Morricone's Once Upon a Time in America and James Last, The Lonely Shepherd, and more than that. And the whole concert's called The Lonely Shepherd, and they end with that piece. This is an unusual concert. It's at 6 in the evening, European time, noon on the East Coast, 9 in the morning on the West Coast. It's unusual because you don't hear the pan flute played with the organ very often at all. In fact, you don't hear the pan flute played classically that often. But this guy, Vyacheslav Zmur, has made a thing of it. I'll tell you a little bit more about him. But first, the organist, Alexander Novoselov, he did graduate work. He got a master's degree at Notre Dame University in the U.S. and also did graduate work at St. Petersburg Conservatory. He's from, I think he's from the Karelia area. And for about 7-8 years, he was the organist at the Palace of Arts of the Karelian State Philharmonic, and has done a fair amount of touring. Vyacheslav Zmur, but wait, he was the winner of Organist of the Year in Russia in 2022 for popularizing organ music among children and youth. And I think they both have, these guys, from what I see of their bios, they both have a playful attitude about them. And so I think this will be a fun concert. Vyacheslav Zmur, he's from Moldova. And he's older, but he was born in 1978. So he's 50 some years old or something like that. Anyway, he studied the ney, which is the Moldovan variety of what is known as the pan flute at the Chisinau Conservatory in Moldova. And then about 20 years ago, he moved to Moscow, and he's built a whole career. If you look him up, you'll see he's played with different orchestras, regional orchestras around Russia and all of that, and done some touring around. Anyway, they'll be doing some interesting pieces like Tchaikovsky's Neapolitan Song, Alyabyev's The Nightingale, some themes from the opera Carmen by Bizet, Cesar Franck's Panis Angelicus, some Buxtehude. Well, that'll be for organ alone, because they always have some pieces just for organ. They'll also have Bach's Prelude and Fugue in D major, just for organ, for you real hardcore organ lovers. And a toccata for organ by Fernand Fouin de la Tombelle, whom I do not know at all. They'll also do the aria by Mozart, the aria of the Queen of the Night in Magic Flute. So this will be fun, I think. Check it out. Okay, then another very interesting concert this week, coming from St. Thomas Church in New York, which we have just discovered recently. And unlike all the other organ concerts we have ever told you about, this one is not free of charge. There's a charge of $17 to enjoy this concert, but it's an intriguing concert, I'll tell you that. Saturday, February 7th, St. Thomas Church, New York City's Grand Organ Livestream Series welcomes organist Wei Cheng Zhao of All Saints Church, Pasadena, and Pomona College, and his wife, violinist Fang Gao, playing a program of Chinese works transcribed for organ alongside favorites of the French repertoire. This will be at 3 o'clock in the afternoon in New York City, noon in Los Angeles, 9 in the evening here in Europe. Well, what can I tell you? They'll start out playing Wei Cheng Zhao's own transcription of the finale to the Saint-Saëns Symphony for Organ and Orchestra, Symphony Number 3 in C minor, which is, one of the organ classics. But they're playing several pieces which are classic Chinese works. They're playing a symphony in the Teapot by Qizan. They're playing the Butterfly Lovers by Gang Chen and Zhan Hao He. They were both born in the 1930s, and this was transcribed by Wei Cheng Zhao and his wife Fang Gao. So I imagine this will be organ and violin, and they'll also do their transcription of Chang Cheng Zhang's and Ye Yuan's "A Soldier Returns to His Love," and these are the kind of and the Butterfly Lovers by Gang Chen and Zhan Hao He. These are classics in Chinese, which I'm told Chinese people just come out to hear them, regardless of who's playing them, because they love this music. So it's a discovery, but it will cost you $17. And then they'll finish up with Marcel Dupre's variations on Noel. So a nice mix. Who are these people? Wei Cheng Zhao came to the United States in 2009 to study the pipe organ, which he didn't know anything about. I mean, he knew what it was, but he didn't know how to play it. Ended up getting a doctor in musical arts from the University of Southern California's Thornton School of Music by 2018. He has transcribed over 60 pieces for organ, including, he does these very unusual ones. He's done a transcription of Prokofiev's Love for Three Oranges for 3 organists, 6 hands, 6 feet, 1 bench, 3 organs, 6 hands. And he's done a transcription of Stravinsky's Firebird for 3 organists as well. So his wife does not have as stellar a reputation as he does, but she is an accomplished violinist. I get the impression she does not like the limelight as much as he does, but she has done. She trained in China as a violinist, came to America to be with her husband for love, and they work together regularly. And apparently they're a great team. So check that out if you're interested. Okay. And moving right along, we still have, I think, 2 more concerts to tell you about this week. So it's a very busy week. And what is the next concert? Yes. The next concert I think is very exciting, and I plan to be there in person. All right. Sunday, February 8th, resident organist and showman Baptiste Florian Marl Ouvrard at Saint Eustache Church in Paris will play Brahms's monumental Symphony Number 4 in the transcription for organ by Serge Olive. This could be an event which organ lovers around the world will not want to miss. I don't want to miss it. I'm in Paris these days till the end of March, so I plan on being there in person. If I get a chance, I've sent a note to Baptiste Florian to see if he would like to do a live stream interview. And if he has any willingness to do so, I'll try to get a live stream interview with him done in advance talking about this. A few months ago, he did his own version of a new Charles Marie Widor. Was it Widor or was it Louis Vierne of a new symphony by one of these great composers by putting together sections from other pieces by the same composer. But in any event, this, I think, Brahms's Fourth is one of the greatest symphonies ever composed, and he's really a top organist. So I think this will be exciting. And then we have one last live stream to tell you about, and this is the one that I was talking about at the very opening of my live stream today, when I promised you that you would get a chance this week, and I would tell you about it if you stayed till the end, to enjoy the fantastic Toccata Finale from Charles Marie Widor's Symphony Number 5. And here is your chance. Sunday, February 8th, the Echoes Organ Festival live streams Karol Mosikowski, top organist and recitalist from Saint Sulpice Church in Paris, France, artist in residence of the Polish National Radio Symphony, and professor of improv at the Musicana in San Sebastian, Spain, performing works by Bach, improvisations, and Charles-Marie Widor's Symphony Number 5. That's right, you can end your organ recital week this way. It'll be late if you're over here in Europe or further east. It's at 8 o'clock in the evening, Mountain Standard Time. It's in Salt Lake City. That's where the Echoes Organ Festival is. We'll give you the link to Karol Mosikowski so you can find out more about him and his stellar career. We give you the link to the organ specs, as we do for most of these things. And we give you the link on YouTube. This is free of charge. It's at 8 o'clock in the evening, Mountain Standard Time, which makes it 10 o'clock in the evening in New York City, 4 in the morning in Europe, and 2 in the afternoon on Monday down under in Australia. And somewhere in between 4 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon, however much further east of Europe you are. So Mosikowski is originally from Poland, and this is another one of these great transfers of a Polish talent like Chopin to France, and another great Polish musician building his career in France. He's newly appointed the director at Saint-Sulpice, which is one of the top 3 organs in Paris. The other 2 being Notre Dame Cathedral and the church I just told you about, Saint Eustache Church in the heart of Paris. So he has a very active performance schedule, and I can't tell you about all of them, but he plays with everything from Radio France to the Warsaw Philharmonic to the Mariinsky Theater in St. Petersburg, etc. He's also a composer. Let me tell you what he's going to be playing to wind this up. I'll start out with the Matthäus Finale by Charles-Marie Widor from his Bach's Memento. Then he'll play a series of improvisations on Johann Sebastian Bach's Schubler chorales, BWV 645 to 650. This is hardcore classic organ. Let not young souls be smothered out before they fully flaunt their pride. He's fully flaunting his pride here. So there'll be pieces like Wer nur den lieben Gott lässt walten, ach bleib bei uns Herr Jesu Christ, oh, remain with us, Jesus, Lord Jesus Christ. And he does an improvisation on each of these. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. And then he finishes off with the magnificent Charles-Marie Widor's Symphony Number 5 for organ. Folks, this is what we have for you this week. I hope that some, more, or any of these live streams inspires you, uplifts you, or just shows you a heck of a good time. I think if I were trying to figure out which is the one that's going to be the most fun, it would be the one for pan, flute, and organ. Although that comes in close next to Olga Vetlugina and Dmitry Maksimenko, because they are always a lot of fun. Before I leave, let me remind you, wherever you're watching this, remember to follow and or subscribe to Access Arts Live. We're on Facebook, YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, and LinkedIn. And with that, I'll sign off. I'll be back in later tomorrow and the next day to give you all you need to know about chamber music this week and symphony orchestras. Ciao for now.